This morning, former President Trump is in Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention just days after surviving the attempt on his life. But we do have some breaking news coming into the CBS News Broadcast Center. Remember that classified documents case against former President Trump? That has apparently been dropped. So let's begin with congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane, who's given us this news. Scott, what do we know about this breaking development?
93-page ruling from Judge Aileen Cannon, a Trump appointee at the federal court in Fort Pierce, Florida. Among other things, she rules that the special counsel in that case, Jack Smith, was unlawfully appointed and unlawfully funded. In that superseding indictment against Donald Trump, the first ever federal charges filed against the former U.S. president have been dismissed. There is a great likelihood there are going to be appeals from the special counsel in this case, and we're still working our way through the 93-page ruling. But this shuts down this high-stakes, high-level criminal prosecution, which stemmed from an August 8, 2022 federal search of Mar-a-Lago by federal agents, in which prosecutors allege they found mishandled, classified documents that were not to have been in Donald Trump's possession. Judge Cannon has taken a uniquely slow course with this case. It has moved, to put it charitably, methodically through her court over the past year or so. It's now off the table and up to the special counsel to try to resuscitate it, potentially in one of the appeals courts, Vlad.
Scott, have we yet heard reaction from special counsel Jack Smith?
Not yet. We expect to hear something soon in the form of either a filing or a written statement from Jack Smith. We don't expect him to get in front of cameras about this. There have been questions from Jack Smith's supporters, surrogates, and to a degree in his own court filings, questioning how Judge Cannon's been handling this case. There have been grave concerns about the methodical nature she has taken with things that should have been, they argue, small bore and easily disposed of. And this case has been knotted up significantly. There was no prospect of this thing going to trial before the election. And this may cue up Jack Smith to try to go over Judge Cannon's head now to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which is based in Atlanta.
All right, Scott MacFarlane, with that late-breaking development that just happened as we went on to the air this morning, that the judge in the Trump's document case has now dismissed that case. Special counsel Jack Smith will have to regroup. We'll see what happens there. Let's talk, Scott, about where you are right now outside of what appears to be the would-be assassin's home in Bethel, Pennsylvania.
And more law enforcement has just arrived here. We just saw two more law enforcement individuals go into the house. They were let in a few moments ago. They have let the neighbors come back to this Bethel Park, Pennsylvania neighborhood. They have been ordered out as there was concerns about possible bomb-making equipment that was found either in the shooter's car or somewhere near the shooter's possession. But police have a big presence here. We know they have the shooter's phone. It's at the FBI lab in Quantico. We know they're combing through whatever social media presence he had before he died. And we are told, according to law enforcement sources, the family is cooperating with investigators who still have a pretty big presence here in Bethel Park. They want to find a motive. And as of last night, Vlad, the FBI was unequivocal. They don't know the motive right now.
Scott, just take us back to those moments where you and the press corps, where you were when those shots rang out. What did you see and what the reaction from the crowd was? Just take us through those horrific moments, one that we should never hope to see in American politics, but that we did on Saturday.
You know, we had a taste of what too many Americans already knew, that there is a fog of war or disorientation to gunshots. You can confuse them with something more innocuous. A lot of us shared the same account that we thought they were firecrackers or some part of the show. And it took us a bit of time, a few beats, before we realized it was something much more sinister. And we didn't realize that till we saw the former president go down with Secret Service on top of him. We took cover. We had the luxury of taking cover, Vlad, because we were on press risers and rafters that we could get beneath. For most of that crowd, that packed in, standing room only crowd, there was nowhere to run and there was nowhere to hide. And I've talked to any number of people who were at that rally who have a growing anger at the failures of security that let that happen at what should have been a uniquely secured event, that let a gunman get access to somewhere within range, that ended up killing a local firefighter, that ended up wounding two other rally-goers, and that have now associated proud Butler County, Pennsylvania, with this horrific moment in American history for the world to see.
All right, Scott MacFarlane for us outside of the shooters, the would-be assassins' home in Bethel, Pennsylvania. Scott, we appreciate you. Thank you very much.